junior in years of life and years of service to the gray‐headed subaltern whom some odd fate had assigned to the command of this detachment, nearly two complete troops of cavalry with a pack train of sturdy little mules to match. We all knew that, as organized, one of our favorite captains had been assigned the command, and that between the chief, as we called our general, and him a perfect understanding existed as to just how thorough and searching this scout should be. The general himself came down to Sandy to superintend the start of the various commands, and rode away after a long interval with our good old colonel, and after seeing the two parties destined for the Black Mesa and the Tonto Basin well on their way. We were to move at nightfall the following day, and within an hour of the time of starting a courier rode in from Prescott with despatches. It was before our military telegraph line was built, and the commander of the division, the superior of our Arizona chief, ordered Captain Tanner to repair at once to San Francisco as witness before an important court-martial. A groan went up from more than one of us when we heard the news, for it meant nothing less than that the command of the most important expedition of all would now devolve upon the senior first lieutenant, Gleason. And so much did it worry Mr. Blake, his junior by several files, that he went at once to Colonel Pelham and begged to be relieved from duty with that column and ordered to overtake one of the others. The colonel, of course, would listen to nothing of the kind, and to Gleason's immense and evident gratification we were marched forth under his command. There had been no friction, however. Despite his gray beard, Gleason was not an old man, and he really strove to be courteous and conciliatory to his officers. He was always considerate towards his men. But by the time we had been out 10 days, having accomplished nothing, most of us were thoroughly disgusted. Some few ventured to remonstrate. Angry words passed between the commander and Mr. Blake, and on the night on which our story begins, there was throughout the command a feeling that we were simply being trifled with. The chat between our chief packer and Sergeant Merrick ceased instantly as I came forward and passed them on the way to look over the herd guard of the little battalion, but it set me to thinking. This was not the first that the officers of the Sandy garrison had heard of those two new ranches, established within the year down in the hot but fertile valley, and not more than 4 hours' easy gallop from Fort Phoenix, where a couple of troops of ours were stationed. The people who had so confidently planted themselves there were evidently well-to-do, and they brought with them a good-sized retinue of ranch and herdsmen, mainly Mexicans, plenty of stock, and a complete camp outfit, which served them well until they could raise the adobe walls and finish their homestead. Curiosity led occasional parties of officers or enlisted men to spend a day in saddle and thus to visit these enterprising neighbors. Such parties were always civilly received, invited to dismount, and soon to take a bite of luncheon with the proprietors, while their horses were promptly led away, unsaddled, rubbed down, and at the proper time fed and watered. The officers, of course, had introduced themselves and proffered the hospitality and assistance of the fort. The proprietors had expressed all proper appreciation, and declared that if anything should happen to be needed, they would be sure to call. But they were too busy, they explained, to make social visits. They were hard at work, as the gentlemen could see, setting up their houses and their corrals, for, as one of them expressed it, "We've come to stay." There were 3 of these pioneers. 2 of them, brothers evidently, gave the name of Crocker. The third, a tall, swarthy, all-over frontiersman, was introduced by the others as Mr. Burnham. Subsequent investigation led to the fact that Burnham was first cousin to the Crockers. "Been long in Arizona?" had been asked.